Deer Avenger 3D is a parody hunting game where you play as a deer hunting down human hunters. Our four-legged firearm-toting protagonist is named Bambo, and his vengeance is mostly fueled by his girlfriend's refusal to sleep with him while there's helpless animals in the forest. It's all laid out for you in the opening cutscene.
No, Bambo. Not as long as there are helpless animals suffering out there. I simply can't get in the mood.
The game's opening menu is the Hunter's Lodge, and you get a chance to walk around inside of it. There's your weapons cabinet, calendar for changing the season, and trophies. There's a set of heads for each season of the game, and it keeps track of how many hunters you take down, at least until you hit 10. After that, the game has this nifty plus sign next to the number. Nature is pretty metal.
Hey, Dolly Parton's bra!
You can't hunt down specific hunters. The hunter that appears is completely random. For a while, I thought the game really had it out for Earl, because he must have appeared at least 10 times in a row.
I'm leaking mayonnaise instead of blood!
The main game starts out in third person with an action bar at the bottom of the screen for deer calls, lures, switching into first-person shooter mode, and collectible power-ups. The game is actually a fun arcadey shooter, not meant to be taken seriously at all. There's no fall damage, weapon recoil, and no control of the camera in third person. It just follows you from one angle and will even point to the ground depending on the slope of the terrain. Sometimes, non-violent hippie characters will spawn, but you're not supposed to shoot those. Regardless, I still want those hippies in my collection of heads. Oh, yeah, don't shoot the hippies. No one besides Bambo spawns on the map in the beginning. If you wait long enough, someone will spawn, but you can make them spawn faster with special redneck calls. There's actually a lot of these, and it's mostly just redneck humor and pop culture.
Wow, an original copy of Sweet Home Alabama!
Once the hunter is in play, you can lure them with a variety of items from beer to a whole pizza. Look, she's going right for the beef jerky.
Beef jerky, part of a well-balanced breakfast with milk, juice, and toast to make it complete.
There's 3 pickups available on the map that you can use to help you on your hunt. I rarely use them because hunters have the loudest footsteps in the world, and the only other sound you'll hear is Bambo's footsteps and the environment.
They'll come a-running.
The sonar will point you into the direction of the hunter, like this. And the broccoli will lure your prey right on top of you. Hunters will also ignore any lures on the way to your sweet, sweet gas. There's also the bomb pickup. I couldn't figure out how to use it very well, so here's me using it on a hippie. And farting on hippies is no doubt just as illegal as shooting them. Here's one of the few times I tried sneaking behind the hunter to use the bomb pickup on him. It didn't exactly turn out very well. It's better just to engage them from a distance, since all the hunters are very nearsighted, and some of them can barely hit you from long range. See? I don't think this guy hit me once. Other hunters like Thad and Snake cheat with their guns. They're both wicked accurate with automatic rifles that get rid of Bambo's health really fast. I'm so glad I was recording when I caught the first time I killed Snake. If it wasn't for this moment, I would think that he was impossible to kill, since he unloads his entire clip when he gets shot. And with that kill, my gun collection is complete. Actually, I have a confession to make. There's a super secret weapon that I didn't get because you have to complete 2 seasons worth of trophies. Since you can't manipulate the game to spawn a certain hunter, and it took long enough to get almost a complete set for 1 season, I really didn't feel like spending the time. Apparently, this game does have a cheat code to unlock all the weapons, but it involves editing the save file. Don't get me wrong, that's not the hardest thing to do. It's just that this game is very old and barely works as is. I mean really, look at this text file. I don't think modern day Notepad is meant to read it. I mean, it could be like one of those old-fashioned password screens where you enter in the data yourself, but I really don't know. There are also some pretty interesting cheats getting passed around from website to website. Most of them are glitches that I could not replicate. 3D milk mode was something I wanted to capture because it sounded kind of cool. My favorite one is about finding Zeke. I can assure you the hunter that appears is completely random, and I don't think there's a way you can manipulate the outcome. It even says that this cheat might not work. Another interesting bit of information I found while researching this game is that articles didn't get the number of hunters correct. This one says that there are 12 hunters and 10 weapons, when there's only 7 hunters and 9 weapons in the game. In addition to this, I found out there were plans to port the game onto the Sega Dreamcast, but for whatever reason, production ceased. Word of this broke last year in 2017, when someone found a pre-production GD copy of the Sega's Dreamcast version in a basement, and there was question whether or not the disc was real or fake, because the finder of the disc wanted to make a profit off of it. You can get the whole story of the disc from Adam Korlick's video on it. I'll link it in the description. He did get some nice footage of the game. It's basically the beta of the demo, and is most likely just for taking screenshots. It's interesting how there's water in the Dreamcast demo, since there is none in the released PC version. You can even look through the game files of the PC version and see that there are sound effects for swimming. Back to the PC version though, I really can't recommend it unless you have nostalgia for it. It's not that amazing of a game, but it's abandonware now, so you can try it for free if you want. But I can't imagine playing this for hours and hours, unless you really want that bazooka. There's also an outro. I can't figure out how you're supposed to play it in the game, but you can access it through the game files. A quick search didn't yield any results, so this might be the first time anyone gets to see it on YouTube.
I am back.
Bambo, you're home early.
Baby, that's disgusting. Mildly kinky, but come on, that is gross.
I can explain. He doesn't mean anything to me. Him either.
Baby, no! What are you doing? I mean, I understand the raccoon, but the squirrel? Have you any idea where that thing's been? All right. Move over.
That's all for now. Stay tuned for the next episode for another game I've probably never heard of.
Trees are good listeners.